I recently watched the Hashira training arc, and looking back at my videos, I severely downplayed Shinobu's abilities in the context of Hashira versus Hashira combat. To be clear, Shinobu is very weak in a full series context including demons. As we saw, she couldn't kill an upper moon even with a self-sacrificial full-body dosage of poison. Doma was in the process of adapting and would have recovered just fine. However, the other Hashira don't have the luxury of being able to alter their bodies at the cellular level to adapt to poison, or regenerate when struck with fatal wounds. And we do see Shinobu is fully capable of landing lethal blows on Doma. Doma himself even comments on Shinobu's speed multiple times, although there is a statement saying Doma was fighting half-heartedly. And the fact the moment he tries he can tag her reinforces this is true. However, once Shinobu locks in, she blitzes this trying Doma again, meaning even if he started trying, she was still faster. Combined with the ability to pierce straight through an upper moon's neck makes her a deadly opponent, and does put her in the ring with the other Hashira as a combatant. Mitsuri, on the other hand, when just going off for 2 fights, actually seems much less impressive, as fighting both Upper Moon 4s resulted in her being outlasted and stalled. What makes this even worse is that she gained a Demon Slayer mark and still couldn't do much more besides stall against Hantengu. When considering Tanjiro's statements about the mark being an enormous boost and it taking characters like Yome and Saname from losing badly to standing up to Kokushibo, and Muichiro from losing to one-shotting Gyoko, this implies Mitsuri's base is significantly worse than most Hashira. She was completely unable to touch Nejime, and was quickly taken out by Muzan, leaving only the vague comparison to Aburo. But considering Aburo only scales to Tomioka and Sanemi that were already exhausted and injured, we end up with circular scaling and Mitsuri just seems to be very lacking. This is where we would get into hacks, and Mitsuri's biggest advantage is that her flexible sword gives her a way to restrict Shinobu's movements and turn it into a physical contest of strength, which when considering Shinobu can't even decapitate spider family demons should go in Mitsuri's favor. On Shinobu's end, her Wisteria poisons won't be that effective, as they're tailored to affect demons, and they're non-lethal enough for Shinobu to essentially be a walking poison factory. This means that the entire fight comes down to speed, as Shinobu can simply puncture Mitsuri's neck and enter, or Mitsuri restricts Shinobu's sword and overwhelms her physically. And considering Shinobu can blitz a serious Doma, while Mitsuri failed to tag Nejime, I would heavily lean towards Shinobu. The cope to downplay Shinobu from here would be to say that there's no way to prove Doma is faster than the lower ranked upper moons. But when considering Muichiro was blitzed by Kokushibo despite reacting to Gyoko even while poisoned and nerfed, we do have more evidence to suggest being higher ranked includes speed. Another supporter is Zenetsu, who doesn't have any substantial power increase after fighting Daki and was still on par with Kaigaku. Despite Kaigaku being so weak, he was only made rank 6, not 5, despite the vacancy, meaning that someone of Zenetsu's power and speed is only rank 6 level. So in other words, Shinobu blitzes and one-shots Mitsuri. If you disagree, tell me why in the comments below. If you have your own videos on the topic, tell me so I can react to it on stream. Bye bye.